everybody. This is Marissa from the Duxbury Free Library with your Take and Make Crafternoon for December 17th, 2020. I'm going to take off my mask because I'm filming in a room by myself. So I'm just going to take this off, put it behind me. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. For our winter solstice craft, I was thinking about all the holidays that take place in December, and I didn't want to focus on one specific holiday. And so we're doing a winter solstice lantern because the winter solstice is December, I believe it's the 21st or the 22nd, and it is the shortest day of the year. Now it's still 24 hours long, but it's the shortest amount of daylight. And so we're making a lantern to sort of light up the darkness and celebrate the return of the sun, because in the northern hemisphere where we live, we're tilted away from the sun right now, and that's what happens all fall. That's why the days get shorter. And then after the solstice, we start to go back, and then it's like springtime, and then the summer solstice is the longest day of the year, longest amount of daylight. So there are a lot of holidays this time of year that have to do with light. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, think of Christmas and all the lights you see at Christmas time, and I thought it would be really pretty and nice to have sort of a solstice craft that goes with everything to celebrate the return, the slow return of the sun, as the planet tilts back this way. So I bet you didn't realize you were also going to get a little bit of a science lesson that I learned a long time ago, and I really hope it's accurate. So if you registered for this Crafternoon, you got your kit, and I'm going to talk you through what's in it, and then we're going to make the project together. And if you didn't get to sign up for this, we will still go through it, and you can get these materials yourself. So you have your instructions, and in your kit you have 2 small glass jars. I got these, for those of you who might be doing this on your own, I got these on Amazon, and they came in a big pack. But you can also just rinse out an old food jar, and it doesn't have to be this small. I just thought this would be good and easy to put in the kits to transport. And it's just a clear glass jar. So any jar you have at home will work as well. So you got 2 of these. You got 2 battery operated tea light candles. So there's just a little switch on the bottom. You could also, if you have a grown-up, you could buy the tea lights, the candles that are this small that you light. But just for safety's sake, I decided to give you the battery operated ones. So there's a little switch on the bottom, and it just turns on, and then when you're done, you can turn it off. The battery also in these is replaceable, so there's a little door, and you just pop it open, and the battery is a CR2032 lithium battery. It's a 3-volt battery. I googled this. You can buy replacement batteries, so if your battery operated candle stops working, you don't have to throw it out. You could put a new battery in it. So that is good to know. Let me put the top back on properly. So 2 jars, 2 candles. Snap on, there we go. 2 candles. You got a sponge brush, and I gave you some tissue paper. At home, you will need watered down white glue, so like regular school glue, with a little bit of water in it to make it nice and thin. You don't want it like milky thin, but just put like a little bit of water and test it just to thin it out so it's not so globby. Or you can use Mod Podge. I love Mod Podge. We have 2 kinds here at the library, and this is glossy, so it'll dry shiny, and then we have this one for when we used to do the kindness rocks that will seal something for the outside. But this isn't going outside, so we're just going to use the gloss. and you can use any white glue you have, or you can buy Mod Podge. And there are different kinds of Mod Podge too, but that is for you to explore. And so our goal for this is to sort of create like a frosty effect with the tissue paper, which is also in your kit. And then you can put your tea light in it and light it up and have it glow. And you can light it up for Solstice or any time. So the first thing you want to do is rinse and dry your jars. We're going to just do one together, but you've got two. And I'm going to take the lid off of this to do it, because then I can easily hold my jar like this. And we're going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on the outside and glue down our tissue paper, and then put another little coat on, let it dry, and then you can put your candle in it. And the nice thing about this being a battery operated candle is you can put the lid back on and it will still glow. If you do that with a regular candle, the candle will go out because it doesn't have any air. So let me tilt the camera down and we'll get started. All right, friends, so I'm actually gonna move my scarf out of the way because I don't want to get glue on it. And the first thing we are going to do after we clean our jar is, I'm gonna flip it over, and I give you some tissue paper. I am gonna tear up my tissue paper into smaller strips because I want it to look a little frosty. If you wanted to, you could just sort of wrap up the whole thing and glue it, but I want to give it a little texture. So you can use scissors. I'm going to just tear, and I'm not going to put glue on the bottom of my jar because I want to have this be easy to flip over when it's done. To show you, you could put tissue paper on the bottom of your jar, but you have to wait for it to dry before you turn it over and set it down, or else it'll stick. So I'm just going to tear this up, not too small. And I give you white tissue paper, but of course, if you have other colored tissue paper at home, you can use whatever you like and whatever you have. It's a good time of year because there are, like I said, a lot of holidays, and a lot of holidays that involve gift giving. So you probably have some tissue paper around the house. So I'm just ripping these into sort of small squares or rectangles. And I am going to open my Mod Podge. Now, normally with a large jar like this, I'd pour a little bit out, but there's not a lot left in here. So, and your sponge brush is a little bit shorter than mine, I know that, but I have this weirdly long sponge brush, so it's going to be able to reach the bottom of that. I'm going to move my candle to the side, and I'm just going to dip my brush in there, wipe off the extra, and just move this a little closer, just put a little bit down. I'm going to lay my brush to the side, and I'm just going to put my tissue paper on. Now, I'm not concerned if this wrinkles or tears a little bit because I want it to look almost like frosted glass. Like maybe a frost came by in the night and got the glass frosty. So I'm just gonna go around, and I might overlap them a little bit. Piece of paper down. Oops. So when I say watered down white glue, I mean Mod Podge is pretty much white glue, but it's just a little bit thinner, and it just makes for spreading it easier. So that is why when I say to water it down, just to give it a similar consistency. It's just easier to brush on. All right, so you can see I'm a little bit more than halfway around my jar. And I think I want to tear this one a little bit more, so that's why I don't have glue on the bottom of my jar, so I can set it down if I need to. And also, like I said, if you have it open, it's easy because then you can just sort of hold it up on your fingers. Just glue these. And I would recommend less is more when it comes to glue, because it will dry faster and it won't get all over the place. So that's where I'm at so far. So almost all the way around. So I have put tissue paper all around my jar, you can see. These little bits that are sort of hanging down, I'm not going to worry about. I can always trim them off later, or just, press them down with my finger. I'm going to put a little bit more tissue paper on here because I want it a little bit thicker, but not by too much, because you still want to be able to see the light through your jar. So now I'm just going to layer over the tissue paper I already have. If you're pleased with your current layer, leave it that way. If you're happy with it, you do not have to put any more on. I feel like I want a little bit more. So you have enough tissue paper to do a decent coating of it on your 2 jars in your kit. And if you needed more, I'm sure you could get your hands on some. And now I think that's good. I like where this is right now. So now I'm going to do a coat of the Mod Podge on top of my paper all the way around the jar. Just so it is all glued down. It's also going to make it look a little shiny. And at this point, if you wanted to glue anything else on your jar, you could. Just know that anything you use that's like a solid piece of paper, the light won't shine through as well. And again, I'm just brushing on a thin layer. I don't want to have it drip down the side of my jar. So I hope you've found some things to do with these shorter days and longer nights. It's getting to be more and more wintry every day. But this will provide a nice warm glow. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this dry so you can see how it dries rather clear. The glue dries rather clear, and then we'll put our candle in and I'll show you your finished solstice lantern. right, my friends, so as you can see, my jar has dried some. It's still looking a little gluey, if you will, but it will continue to dry and get more and more clear. Now I'm going to put my candle in it, and I'm filming this in the afternoon. So right now, the room I'm in, the sun is coming through pretty brightly, but I'm gonna see if I can close the shade and turn the lights off in here and see if you can get an idea of what this is gonna look like. So I'm just gonna leave my jar here, and excuse me for one moment. Let me see if I can line up this. All right, it's a little bit darker, right? Okay, so I think this is gonna work. So now I've got my jar, and this one is mostly dry. Because you're not putting any glue on the inside, you don't have to wait for it to dry completely. So I'm gonna flick my candle on, like so. Drop it in my jar. I'm gonna put the lid on carefully, because my jar is still a little bit wet. There we go. So there you have your frosted glass looking winter solstice lantern, and you have 2 of them. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. I think this is a great way to bring a little light in when the days are so short and it gets dark really early. And you could use this if you like to have a little light on in your room at night. It's great for that. And like I said, you can replace the battery. So please stay warm, stay safe. I know you can't really see my face now because I put the lights off, but and I hope you have a very happy holiday no matter what you celebrate this season. And we'll see you again in January for another Crafternoon. Remember that our mini library is open Tuesdays through Sundays, and the hours for that are posted on our website. You can actually come into the bottom level of the library by the tennis courts and browse. You can still pick up your holds curbside, and please keep an eye on our calendar for other events we have coming up, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one, everybody. Happy winter solstice.